Hello, everyone. Jim Clark here at the Synchronicity Sanctuary in Central Virginia. And I'm here today to share another contemplative focus with you. So, the focus I want to share today, after a long duration where we couldn't do these live streams for a while, uh, is unity and duality are simultaneous and coexist because of a space between them where we may witness both. All experience exists in relativity. But from the illusions of duality to the truth of non duality, there is one orchestrating presence, a witnessing consciousness. This eternal observer continually perceives the dynamic interplay of relative existence. The mechanics of this consciousness can be discerned within the most subtle realms of human individuality. Relative reality unfolds as a trinity, two polarities, and the witnessing awareness that holds the space between them. Without this awareness, neither polarity can exist. So, to break this down, there is a trinity at play here, and this is how consciousness, with its primary intention to fully be itself, can enter into a realm of experience that is impossible without duality. It seems like a contradiction, but it's really not. It's what we call, or what my teacher called, a creation game, a game that consciousness creates it with the intention to fully be itself. It wants to experience itself. And in order to experience itself, it has to pretend like it's not itself. It's something other than itself. And it's also something that's not aware. It's not aware of who it is. Uh, if you look at the world population today, how many people in the world today could be declared as a full-blown master of meditation, where they walk around and they're constantly in a state of unity consciousness. They can still be aware of the polarization and the play of relativity, but their state of being is constantly dominated by the non-dual aspect of reality, the truthful aspect of reality, that everything is consciousness. There is only one, and that one is what we're seeing playing out that game right now, and we are part of that game. All experience, the illusion, let's put it this way, that the illusion of duality is a play that is intended in consciousness. It's not something that's keeping us away from our truth. It's something that's a part of our truth, because we're in this game as players. We are acting out the primary intention in consciousness. We are the consciousness that is discovering itself. Every moment on this planet, somebody, somewhere, or some number of people are discovering themselves. They're having that moment of breakthrough where suddenly their experience as a limited, confined human being is shuffled aside, and they have a full experience of who they are as consciousness. And this experience, from my experience, is where you become aware of who you truly are after being fully immersed in the illusion of being a human being, and that's it. Huh? So these breakthrough moments are huge, and it changes a person's life forever after. I know it did mine. Um, I didn't come here because what I thought. I didn't come here because there was some mental fixation on some imagined non-duality. It was the experience of non-duality as myself that brought me here. It was a momentary experience, but the power of that experience cannot be underestimated or even described, really. It's it's such an illuminating and blissful experience that it's what you want, and you know afterwards that's what only thing that you really want is more of that. You want more unity consciousness experience as yourself. You want to be that moment, which we all are, but we are also playing the game in the human experience. And as we go through our experience as humans, where we are limited in our experience to the relatively minor pleasures and pains that happen here on the planet, we if we are aware enough to even seek, then we keep trying to, and we keep meditating. We go to whoever we go to get guidance in that for that purpose. And this is it's actually a very good sign. It's not a sign that you're failing anything. It's a sign that you are well on your way in your evolutionary process. So when we come into this game in the beginning, we are in an involutionary cycle where we become fully immersed in the identity of being whatever we're being, a human being, in this case, a human being. So we get identified with it fully, and then when we have finished that process, when we have completely shut off all awareness of our non-dual truth, then we begin to evolve back to that truth. It's kind of like a circular game where we pretend to be who we are not, and then we gradually evolve back towards the truth of who we are. Simple, but it's a game that consciousness, and we're consciousness, is orchestrating constantly. You can't go backwards. People may think that they're making mistakes. People may think they're doing something wrong, or that they're not doing enough, on and on and on. The mind can put all manner of spins on our experience as human beings, but we're not the orchestrators of this show. You might say that our truth is orchestrating the show while we pretend to not be that truth. Kind of simple, but it's really what's happening here. That space between that witnessing consciousness, as you evolve more and more awareness in your moment to moment experience, that witnessing consciousness is where you are experiencing that growth and that expanded awareness of what is true, what's real. And so it's a game that consciousness created with the intention to fully be itself. It wanted to have the experience of itself, and this is how it does that. Simple. And so we're going through our human experience. I'm going through mine, you're going through yours, and irregardless of what we think, the mind is forever creating all kinds of illusions and stories about just about anything it can latch itself to. That's what it's for. It's one of the primary players in the illusion of who we are not. And it will forever try to be dominant in our experience because it wants to maintain the ego as a reality that it is not. It wants to maintain the ego as the be all and end all of life, as awareness, the awareness of the ego. But the ego cannot go there. And this is what meditation is all about. Meditation is to gradually bring yourself to a point of balance and a point of consistent balance where such breakthrough moments and experiences of your truth, the witnessing consciousness, can be experienced again. You can enter into the witnessing consciousness that is forever watching. And so, as meditators anywhere in the world, this is the primary goal, although there's not really a goal because we're not discovering something that's new. We're not becoming something that's new. We're actually kind of moving away from the illusion more towards the truth while we're playing the game of being an illusory human being. And that's the irony of it all. Uh, and you can't be where you're not supposed to be either. We have all kinds of judgments and ways of observing experience here as human beings, and we place values on this experience and values on that experience, and we weigh and judge and so forth and so on, as it becomes as part of the illusion that there is the good, there's the bad, and there's the best, and there's the worst, and so forth and so on, because we're playing in those polarities, and we just do it automatically. We don't even think twice about it. We like this person, we don't like that person. We say we approve of this, we don't approve of that, and it's just a on to forever game that we play with each other. Acceptance, inclusion, unity consciousness, anything that unifies and supports that unity is the minority on the planet Earth, at least at this time it is. And so it's a game that the world is immersed in. The human population on the planet at this time is struggling very hard to maintain its self, period. We're seemingly at a point where we could easily destroy ourselves completely. We have the capacity. We have the seeming capacity to do that. But we only seem to have that capacity because as the ego, we think we're orchestrating the show. We think it's our decisions that are going to make or break the future of the planet, the future of humanity. But we're not making those decisions. We think we're making those decisions, but we're not. Consciousness is orchestrating the show. Consciousness is not going to end the show unless it decides to. And when it does end the show, or if it ends the show, then it will just return back to its unity consciousness completely. And all this will just be gone. But we're not going to be gone. The ego will be gone, but not who we truly are. Our truth was always our truth. There is only one source consciousness, and we are that consciousness. That does not change, and it cannot change because that's what is. Yeah? So, it's we think in terms of, within the play of polarity, we think in terms of the best, the worst, the good, the bad, and so forth and so on. So our thinking is going to go in that direction pretty much all the time. You can't think unity consciousness because consciousness is being fully aware. If you're fully aware, you don't have to think about anything, you're aware. So it's like trying to think about something that you're totally aware of, like your being. You are, and that's something that your thinking cannot change unless it changes. And are we in charge of that? No. Not as the ego is not in charge of much of anything. It's pretty limited in the choices it can actually make. So it's not to be taken too seriously, although we do take it seriously by habit. And that's the human habit that is slowly evolving as a whole towards a more aware experience, generally speaking, on the planet. That's the direction it's going in, and that's the direction it will continue to go in. So no matter what things look like to the ego, the real show that's going on is not in many people's awareness at all. They're completely engaged in the belief that we're headed downhill and we're heading towards self-destruction. It looks that way. It's supposed to look that way. And your role and your play of who you are in this show is exactly what you're supposed to be and exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So you can't do it wrong, and you can't make mistakes in your life because there is no mistakes to be made. That's the good news, and that's the only real news that there is. There is only one. Unity and duality are simultaneous. They coexist because of the space between them. The show goes on, but the truth is always the truth. That's another way to say the same thing. So I'll leave you with that thought. I'll leave you with that sharing, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you get something out of this that's of value to you. So until I see you again, probably next Monday morning, I bid you adieu, and I thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much.